Welcome to my life as I live it. I'm Army Princess, the mother, wife, and soldier, and I want to share this journey with you. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe now so you don't miss a moment of it. Hello and welcome back to my channel. It's Army Princess here, and I have a very important conversation for you all today. Before I get started, I always put it out there, I am a U.S. Army soldier. I've been in the military for over 10 years now, and I love to share my experiences with you all. And so with that being said, if you know anybody in the military, if you're planning on joining the military, or you just want to get more information about the military in general, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you click the notification bell so you are notified anytime I upload. I usually upload a military video once a week, usually on Mondays. I may sprinkle them throughout the week if I'm feeling up to it. So make sure you definitely hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload from me. But I do other types of videos other than military, like beauty, hair, vlogs, whatever I feel like putting up, basically. But today I wanted to talk to the ladies, and not necessarily the ladies, men too, if you're looking for information for your spouses. So I've gotten several questions, DMs, emails, comments about the IVF process in the military. So for people who are watching me for the very first time, I am currently pregnant. My husband and I did IVF to conceive this baby. We also did IVF to conceive our 3-year-old daughter that we have. And I'm just so thankful for the military because I was able to do it through the military. So that's what I wanted to talk to you all about. So for the people that don't know, let me start all the way back in the beginning, what IVF is. So IVF stands for in vitro fertilization. And what that means is they fertilize the egg outside of the body. So everything is done outside of the body. And I had my whole IVF journey this time around. I will put the card up here, so definitely make sure you check out the whole playlist from beginning to end to see everything I went through, because actually my IVF turned into an IUI. But getting back into what IVF is. So they fertilize the egg outside of the body. So what they do is they put you on hormonal injections to make your ovaries stimulate eggs. Once you get so many eggs and they get to a certain size, then they will go in and put you to sleep and take the eggs out. They will then fertilize the eggs in a lab, in a petri dish. They will put them with the sperm, so your spouse or husband or whatever significant other has to give a sperm sample. And they will put the sperm in the dish with the egg and let it grow for 3 to 5 days. Once it starts to grow and turn into an embryo, they will put the embryo back into your uterus, and 2 weeks later you take a pregnancy test to see if you're pregnant or not. So the first time around, we did that procedure probably, I guess, about 4 years ago now at Walter Reed, that's in the Washington, D.C. area. We were stationed up that way. And so we did it. We got pregnant the first time go with Giselle. And that probably cost about a little over $8,000. The military, what people fail to realize is, although the military pays for pretty much 99% of all of your medication the whole time you're on active duty status, if you're active duty, they do not pay for IVF. IVF is considered an elective procedure, which I hate that, because it's not like I'm electing for a tummy tuck or a boob job. I have to have this done because I cannot have a baby on my own. And for many people that are going through this, they cannot conceive on their own. So it's not a luxury. It's not an elective procedure like, oh, I want to, look good, or I want to get a tummy tuck or something like that. It's something that they have to do because they have no other option. And so the biggest, I guess, the pro in it is that the military does it for a discounted rate. Now, I know people who went on the outside to get it done, and they pay upwards of, on the low end, $15,000, on the higher end, $20,000 to $30,000 per cycle. That's for one try. So the military does do it at a discounted rate, and then also all of your medication is free if you do it through the military. The con is that the military only has 6 facilities within the US only that they do it at. So if you're not stationed at one of those 6 facilities, then you will either have to go TDY there, or you will have to take leave to go there and stay during the time that it takes for you to go through the whole process and get pregnant, and then you go back to your unit. So for me, we were just so happy to be stationed in the DC area the last time we did it, so we didn't have to take leave or go TDY. This particular time, the closest facility that we were able to go to was Fort Bragg. So that's in Fayetteville, North Carolina. It's about 2.5 hours away, which isn't a big deal to drive. But with IVF, and what a lot of people don't realize is you have to go almost every day, especially when you get towards the end of your cycle. A cycle can last anywhere between 2 and 3 weeks. If you're doing the stem injections, you have to see the doctor like every single day. So driving 2 hours there and back every single day is a lot of gas. It's a lot of time. So we opted to go TDY. TDY is where you just kind of stay there. You don't, your unit lets you go there basically like on leave or on vacation type time. You don't have to, you have to pay for everything out of pocket, but you don't have to use your leave. So we stayed there. We were there for 2.5 weeks, almost 3 weeks. And yeah, so we are pregnant. So I just wanted to do, put a little bit of information out there for the people that are interested in it. Like I said, I get people who ask me all the time how it works and how did I do it and how did I go through the process. So I have the list on my phone. I'm going to read the list of the 6 military treatment facilities. So if you are in one of those areas, you're good. If not, like I said, you have to go TDY or take leave to go there. So Fort Sam Brooke Army Medical Center, they have Houston, Texas here, but it's not in Houston, Texas. It's in San Antonio, Texas. Tripler Army Medical Center, that's in Hawaii. So if you're stationed in Hawaii, there's a facility there. Walter Reed, that's where we went. It's in Bethesda, Maryland. It's the DC area. Naval Medical Center, it says San Diego, California. So if you're on the West Coast, Madigan Army Medical Center, which is in Tacoma, Washington State. So that's the upper West Coast. And then I guess for the southern region, it would be Fort Bragg, which is in North Carolina for the southern region. So it looks like they have them pretty much spread out throughout the U.S. They have some on the East Coast, some on the West Coast, some in the South, some in the North, and then one in Hawaii, which is considered the U.S. But like I said, it's not a free service. We did have to pay out of pocket, but the military, like I said, pays for all of the medication. In DC, it was about $8,000. Here, it was a little bit lower. It was about, no, DC was $6,000 and here it was $8,000. So for here, it was a little bit higher, which I don't understand the price difference, but I guess every facility sets their own rates depending on what services they offer and the amount of staff and things like that, the facilities that they're going to be using. We actually did go, everything was done through the military at Fort Bragg, but then the actual procedure day was done at an all-post civilian medical center site. So maybe that cost a little bit more. Maybe that's why the overall total price of the procedure was a little bit more. But like I said, you have to do your research and see what location is the closest to you and see which area will benefit you best in getting it done if you are looking to get IVF or IUI done. The way you go about doing it, I guess I could say, so I'll give you a little bit of a background on our story, and then you can, everybody's story is different. Everybody has their own needs or their own reasons why they need to do IVF. It may be the female that's having fertility issues. It may be the male that's having like sperm issues. It may be, you know, chromosomal issues. It may be age. Whatever the case may be, everybody has their own reasons of why they might need to go the IVF route instead of being able to conceive naturally. But for our specific situation, Gabriel and I had decided to wait a little bit longer before we wanted to have a baby in our marriage. We've been married 10 years this year and our daughter's 3. So we waited until we were 5 years in before we wanted to start having a baby. So we said that we were going to wait, which I think was awesome. I'm glad we did wait. But we waited 5 years, and then after that, I hadn't been on birth control the whole time. But I knew that I was going to have issues conceiving because I never had normal periods or normal cycles. I always had to have medicine in order to have a period. So after the 5-year mark, we went to the doctor because we hadn't been on birth control the whole time and I hadn't gotten pregnant. So basically pretty much did a bunch of blood work, a bunch of lab work. They determined that I would have to have IVF because I don't ovulate on my own naturally. So there's no egg that's waiting to come down every month to be fertilized by his sperm. So my doctor at the facility where I was at in Maryland actually put in a referral to Walter Reed, to their IVF program. Once the referral goes to the IVF program at whatever facility is closest to you, then they will start to schedule you initial appointments. You go in, you meet with them, and you determine what cycle is going to work for you, because they do, most of the facilities don't just let you come in when you want, like tomorrow we're going to start IVF. They have what's called cycles. So they do a group of people, a big group of people for, you know, Walter Reed did spring, summer, winter, fall. So they only have 4 cycles a year. So you have to make sure you get in on that cycle. Fort Bragg did a few more cycles than 4 a year, but maybe it was about 6 cycles total. So we said that we wanted to do, with Giselle, we wanted to do the earliest cycle we could get into, which was their fall cycle. But here we did the spring cycle, which was the earliest that we could get into, because we knew we wanted to start in the spring of 2018. So we did the spring cycle, we got in, you go through orientation, they tell you what's, you know, how everything is going to go. And then after that, they start scheduling you your appointments. So you come in, you do an initial ultrasound to look at your ovaries, to look at your uterus, to make sure everything is good. And then they will put you on birth control. Usually they put you on birth control. What that does is help you shed that lining so you have a fresh start on your uterus. And then you go from there. You start taking the injections, whatever injections you may need. Everybody's dosage is different. The amount that they do every day might be different. So you start taking injections that grows the lining of your uterus as well as grows the follicles of the ovaries. And then once they get to a certain size, usually in about 2 weeks, they will go in and say, hey, it's ready for retrieval day. They retrieve the eggs, put you to sleep. You count how many you have. It's like a big deal. How many eggs did I get? And then they put it with the sperm and fertilize it, like I said, for 3 to 5 days, depending on how good the embryos look. After 3 days, they'll say we can go to 5. If they're not looking too good, they'll say, okay, today is the 3rd day, let's put them back in. They'll go in and do basically like almost like a pap smear type thing. You're not put to sleep. They put your foot up in the stirrup. They take the little metal clamp thing and open you up and stick the catheter in there and shoot the embryos in there, and you hope they stick, and in 2 weeks you take a pregnancy test. So it's pretty straightforward, pretty easy, pretty simple procedure. The hardest part is actually getting into that facility and getting into the cycle that you want to get into. Before you start, everything has to be paid up full in advance, so you can't owe a balance. So make sure you're prepared for that. And that's pretty much it as far as how the 2 military IVF cycles have gone that I've been through at 2 different facilities. They're pretty much the same, but there were little things that were different. But overall, I was very impressed. Like I said, both times I got pregnant first time go. And they also offer IUI, which is what we actually turned our IVF into this past time. IUI is considerably cheaper, but the outcome is a 20% chance, where with IVF, you usually have a 40 to 50% chance. success rate. So we were blessed enough to get pregnant the first time on an IUI with a 20% chance. So this baby was definitely meant to be. Yeah, and we are excited. So like I said, if you want to see my journey, make sure you follow that playlist. I also have a pregnancy playlist that I've started since I've been pregnant, so definitely check me out and definitely stick along for this pregnancy, because I'm taking y'all with me every step of the way. I appreciate all the love and support, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.
Hey, if you want to see more videos like this, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. Like, what are you waiting on? Go now.